Find us a man. Judith got pregnant at the age of 16, contrary to what people expected. However, 17-year-old Kunle accepted the pregnancy, and after performing all the required traditional rites, the youngsters got married. A couple of months later, they welcomed twin daughters, Olawumi and Olaide. The family of four was perfect. Kunle and Judith handled themselves so maturely that it would be difficult to guess how young they were. As Kunle continued to pursue his university degree and work on construction sites to fend for his now family, Judith put her liquid soap making skills from home economics to use to support the family. Several years later, the twins were now 7-year-old, and Kunle had finally secured a degree and was working for an insurance company, while sponsoring Judith's schooling as well. One day, as Kunle went to pick the children from school, having some days of work, and Judith was writing her final exams in Polytechnic, the worst happened. Kunle got down from his car to cross over to the kids' school, and he was run over by a trailer. The driver drove away without stopping to make sure Kunle was okay. It took a while for the ambulance to arrive, and when they did, Kunle was dead on arrival. It was a difficult couple of years for Judith and her daughters. Luckily for them, in Kunle's company, every staff had an insurance policy on life, which helped the family to hold up for some time. The girls, despite being young when they lost their father, remembered how loving he was to their mother and hoped to marry someone who would treat them like he did their mother. Judith successfully graduated and created her own company that made home products such as soap, disinfectants, hair fresheners, and so on. She became so rich that you would think she inherited the wealth. Despite all this, she refused to remarry. Each time she was asked, she would recount how no one could be a Kunle. Olawumi and Olaide grew up to be beautiful girls and were extremely close friends with their mother. Whenever they saw a movie with their mother or heard of someone getting married, they would tell their mother that she would be the one to find a man for them. Judith always laughed this off, assuming the girls were only joking. After some years, Olawumi joined her mother's business, while Olaide became a renowned fashion designer who had a range of celebrities as clients. The twins never dated or entertained the attention of any man. They always played tricks on stubborn toasters who refused to hear no. On one occasion, a new guy in their area, who wasn't aware the girls were twins, asked Olawumi out. And as she refused, he asked Olaide out the next day, assuming it was the same girl. After the twins realized what was happening, they planned to set him up. Olawumi agreed to go out with him and asked him to come pick her up. But when the young man came, he saw Olaide and tried kissing her. Just then, Olawumi returned with a cold bucket of water and splashed it on him, calling him a cheat. As the guy saw the two girls, he realized he had messed up and accepted his mistake, leaving the two sisters to laugh at this for days. As the girls clocked 25, they decided they were ready to settle down, and so they approached Judith, their mother, asking her to find them a man. "Mom, find us a man," Olawumi, the most outspoken of the twins, said. "Yes, Mom, I believe we are old enough to settle down now," Olaide agreed. "Find you a man, Ke?" Judith asked, surprised. "Where is it heard that a mother finds a man for her daughters? If you don't find us a man, we will not get married," the girls chorused. Judith, aware of how stubborn her daughters were, had no choice but to agree, as she also wanted a larger family, and so the hunt began. Judith found herself at a crossroad, tasked with finding suitable partners for her beloved twin daughters, Olawumi and Olaide. Despite their playful antics and shared laughter, they were serious about settling down. Their journey began with Judith reminiscing about her own love story with Kunle, a tale of unexpected teenage pregnancy, evolving into a strong, resilient family unit. Kunle's untimely death had left a void, but Judith's determination and entrepreneurial spirit had propelled her forward, establishing a successful business empire. Now, as her daughters reached adulthood, Judith couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and apprehension. Would she be able to find partners who would cherish them as Kunle had cherished her? Olaomi and Olaide, with their vibrant personalities and shared bond, made it clear to Judith that they were ready for this next chapter. Their insistence on her finding them suitable matches was both endearing and daunting. Back to the story. As Judith embarked on this quest, she couldn't help but wonder how she would navigate the complexities of modern dating. Gone were the days of traditional courtship rituals. Now, it seemed love was just a swipe away. Judith signed her daughters up on dating sites, but she soon realized there was more catfishes than actual potential husbands. On one occasion, Judith found a profile of two handsome twin brothers whose hobbies stated seemed to be perfect for her daughters. But to be on the safe side, Judith went along on dates, hiding some tables away, only to be shocked at two old men who were far from the profile and were not even twins. She had to create a scene to save her daughters from there. Another time, she set Olaomi up with a very handsome chef, only for him to arrive with body odor. The list of online dates gone wrong goes on. Finally, Judith decided to reach out to all her friends who had marriageable sons and set a date interview where each man would come in one by one and win her daughter's heart and, of course, her approval. All of her friends were excited for the possible match between their sons and Judith's daughters, as they always wished for a match between their families. After vigorous testing and questions, the two sisters found themselves men. Olaomi chose Emeka, while Olaide chose Femi. Soon, wedding bells were heard, and Judith couldn't be happier. Everyone was happy except a certain young man, Charles. Charles was Olaomi's closest friend. Despite being a guy, and he always had a crush on her, but couldn't say anything because he knew how Olaomi would react. Charles continued to be dear for Olaomi, despite the pang of hurt in his chest. The wedding day finally arrived, and it was the most beautiful wedding ever. A couple of months later, Olaide was glowing more than ever before, as she had truly wedded a man almost as perfect as her father. But unfortunately for Olaomi, Emeka was the definition of all that glitters is not gold. Not only was he the kind of man who would wear the same boxers for 2 weeks, Olaomi soon found out he was gay and only agreed to marry her to hide his sexuality. She found this out in the most heartbreaking way. She had returned earlier than usual because being her mother's business partner permitted her to return on time to spend time with her husband, only for her to find Emeka and Jones, their houseboy, whom Emeka had insisted they hired, on their matrimonial bed. It was not even remorse. He attempted to threaten her, claiming she would shame her family if she was a divorcee. For days, Olaomi could not tell her mother or her sister Olaide. She packed her belongings and went to Charles' home to gather her thoughts. Charles was happy Olaomi was single again, but was sad about how things happened. Eventually, the divorce was finalized and her mother and sister were informed. After time had passed, Olaomi began to get jealous of Olaide's marriage, wondering why she was unlucky. Unknown to Olaide, who always discussed how Femi treated her, Olaomi would boil in words as she pretended to be happy for Olaide. And one occasion, she decided to snatch Femi. Have a more curvier body than Olaide, Olaomi thought. He would definitely see her more better. So she visited Femi's office without informing her sister. She intentionally wore a skimpy dress, but as soon as she got to the entrance of Femi company, she realized how shameful her actions were and went back home crying. I almost did that to my twin sister, she repeated. The more she thought about it, the more she cried. She fell asleep only to wake up to see Charles. Unknown to him that she was already awake, he began to profess his feelings for her. She opened her eyes, surprising him. Shortly after, they began to date, and Olaomi fell heads over heels for Charles. They got married, and a year later, the two sisters, Olaomi and Olaide, got pregnant exactly at the same time. Judith was the happiest woman as she danced, taking turns to visit her daughters. The end. Tell us in the comments if you think Olaomi should confess her bad intentions to Olaide. Or should she accept it as a weak moment in her life? Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. And as always, see you in my next video. Bye bestie.